There you are again, John Augustine back again. Johnny sang this lovely hymn, "Were you there when they crucified my Lord?" And there's himself and his lovely wife, Joan Cash, sang at concerts in the United States together, and everybody enjoyed them. And when Johnny visited this country umpteen times, he sang many a good tune, including 40 Shades of Green. We enjoyed the singing, Johnny, so he may you rest in peace, and your wife Joan, and the light of heaven shine upon you. We're going to sing your little hymn, Johnny. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they nailed him to the cross? Were you there when they nailed him to the cross? Sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they nailed him to the cross? Were you there when they took him down from the cross? Were you there when they took him down from the cross? Sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they took him down from the cross? Were you there when they laid him in the tomb? Were you there when they laid him in the tomb? Sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they laid him in the tomb? Were you there when the stone was rolled away? Were you there when the stone was rolled away? Sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when the stone was rolled away? Well, you weren't. The soldier was there, though. And when that big stone blocking the tomb was rolled away by those angels in heaven, those soldiers went as white as sheets and ran like jackrabbits, shivering. And when Caiaphas saw them, he says, "What's wrong with you? We just go back and mind that tomb. That's what holds up. We're paying you for." Oh no, we're not going back. That big stone blocking the tomb was moved away by force from heaven. You go back, Caiaphas and your cronies. Off you go. Well, no, she's lazy old yoke. No, they just give orders and do nothing. So Mary McTillan then and her ladies was coming to anoint our Saviour on Easter Sunday morning. This is something that they do to anoint the body of our divine Saviour Jesus. And we're saying, how are we going to move that big stone? If the soldiers are there, we'll ask them to move it. But when they went there, the stone was moved away and there was no soldiers. Mary went into the tomb and came out crying. She said he's not there. Jesus isn't there, his clothes is there. Where have they put him? So we can go and bring him back. And the lady was crying as well. And there was a man there looked like a gardener or something. And he says to Mary, "Mary." She looked, smile creased her face. "Go and tell the apostles what you've seen, Mary." "I certainly will. And we'll go too," says the ladies. And off they went. Happy to tell the apostles. In the meantime, there was two disciples on the road to Emmaus, a little village 6 miles away from Jerusalem. They were as sad as you like, their faces nearly down to the ground. A stranger joined them. "What's wrong with you?" she says. "Did you see a ghost?" "We saw no ghost." "Are you the only one that doesn't know what happened today?" "No, tell me." "Our Saviour Jesus was crucified, our Redeemer, the way, the truth, and the life. We don't know what to do. So the stranger walked along the road with them and spoke about the scriptures and all other sort of matters, and their mood lifted. They were kind of smiling, and they felt like whistling, but they didn't whistle. They said, "Is that so?" Now and again, just to keep the conversation going. And then, as they moved, as they come through towards Emmaus, it was getting dark, and the stranger was about to go on and said, "Hold on here, about that. Don't be good. It's getting dark. Come and join us. Have a bite to eat and stay the night and continue your journey in the morning." "Always," says the stranger. "I'll go with you." It was Jesus, of course. They didn't know that at the time. But as they were having a meal and to breaking of the bread, they recognised Jesus. Their eyes was opened. Oh, and he disappeared. Well, they were as happy as you could imagine. Was that marvellous? He was with us all along the road. We're blessed. We go and tell the apostles. And they were tired, we could sleep standing up. We got hurt. So off they went. And they were whistling along that moonlight night and singing. "Are you there, Moriarty? Are you there?" Not that kind of a song, but whatever way they sing. And they said, "We're going to have to rattle on that door. Them apostles are afraid of the Jews in case they murder them." So they rattled on that door and go and shouted it was them, Jack and Joe. And the apostles opened all the locks, and they told them the good news of Jesus. Did they believe? I'm afraid not. Did they believe Mary Magdalene? I'm afraid not. And when Jesus appeared, he says, "I sent you messengers. Why didn't you believe them?" Showing him his wounds and said, "We're very sorry. Forgive us." Peter and John went to the tomb and saw that you weren't there, and John realised that you'd risen from the dead. But now we're delighted to see Jesus. And Thomas wasn't there, and he wouldn't believe Jesus had risen from the dead unless he could touch his wounds in his body. Well, they gave out to Thomas something fierce. They nearly felt like rattling him. And they did rattle him. And Jesus appeared 8 days later when Thomas was there. And he said to Thomas, "Put your hands here on his wounds." Thomas did what our Saviour asked him to do and fell to his knees, saying, "My Lord and my God," ashamed of his unbelief. And Jesus looked kindly at him. "Thomas, you believe because you have seen. Blessed are those that haven't seen and yet believe." And that's Catholics down the centuries to the present day. We believe and shed many a tear when we contemplate the passion and death of our Saviour and the cruelty inflicted on him. I hope you like that story. You'll hear stories like that from yours truly. You won't hear it, unfortunately, in the church. You don't seem to be able to do the needful. So bye now and enjoy the rest of your day. We'll be doing the daily reflections later because this is the first Friday. We'll be going to Mass and it's going to be Rosary and Benediction now. Don't know how he's going to do that because I don't hear a choir there. It's disgraceful. There should be a choir. Lovely organ there. Pipes and all. Upstairs at the back. Bye now.